But how did it evolve to what it is now? Was it a vision? Was it a slow, sort of a gradual increase in numbers? And
yeah, I mean, it's about as slow as it gets. When I was a young teenager, I was getting no views, had no money, had no equipment. And so for the most part, it was just like I was just trying to scrounge money so I could buy equipment because I was using my brother's old laptop. And so, like, my first couple hundred videos, I didn't have a microphone. Like, imagine just, like, crackly, terrible voice. And so once I got monetized, I saved up for a few months. Like I told you, I bought a microphone. I can just give you a mile-high history. And I saved up for, like, 6 months. I mean, I was just doing video game videos, and they were terrible. But I saved up. I got a real computer. So now I could actually record the video game in high quality. I have a microphone. I'm, like, 15. And I just kept going and going. Trying to figure out like what are some of like the hot spots. Like I essentially up until 18 I had been doing YouTube pretty religiously, but I was making no money. Like this is kind of the turning point was when I graduated from high school, and my whole life I was like I want to be making enough money by the time I graduated to do this full time, and I wasn't. I was still only making a couple $100 a month. So I graduated high school and my mom was like either move out or go to a community college. And I didn't have enough money to move out, but I hated school with a passion. But she forced me to go to community college, and that was the worst thing ever. Like that made me hate life. Like borderline suicidal. I just can't stand like having to just sit there and listen to this dumb stuff and listen to some teacher read out a book. So what I did was I would act like I was going to community college, but I would just work on videos in my car and edit and stuff like that. I had straight zeros. And so now the clock had started because once my mom found out, I was screwed.
Were you aware of that? Like that you're running a risk?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I would act like I was going to college that whole time, but I wasn't. And I didn't have enough money to move out. And that was kind of when I was just like 15 hours a day, all in. I was like, I'm fucked if this doesn't work. And I had some videos pop off. I couldn't tell you which ones, but I had a month where I made 20 grand because I just had some videos just do really, really well. And then I came home and I was like, I haven't been going to college, and I moved out the next day. My mom almost had a heart attack because she didn't understand YouTube or anything back then, and she was like, man, this guy's gonna work at McDonald's. I wasted all this time. Like I invested 18 years, and this is what I get.
Where were you living? What part of the country?
North Carolina. That's where I've lived almost my whole life.
And so, how does she feel now?
Oh, she's great.
Is she like
she's
flabbergasted?
beyond happy. Yeah, she loves it. Put her in front of her friends. She loves talking about it. She's great.
I always knew little Jimmy was going to be a success.
No, she doesn't try to hide it. We would fight all the time. Even in high school, like, I never once studied. I literally wouldn't even take my books home. Like I legit don't think I studied once all of high school at my house. And so we would fight a lot. I didn't have the best grades. And so I would just make videos, and she didn't understand it, especially because back then it was just a whole different world. Like, there wasn't really a thing as a full-time YouTuber and stuff. And so it was a lot of arguments, a lot of drama, but ended up working out. She's happy.
The thing is, it's like nobody saw this coming, right? So you can't blame her.
But dude, especially me in like the middle of North Carolina in a small town. I had like horrible acne. I'm especially back then, really awkward. It's like no one, like people would have bet $1 million that I wouldn't be a YouTuber. It makes no sense. But I just like, I have, hyper obsession and I love this. And, you give it enough time, anyone can solve it.
Well, there's a lesson in that for people, really. Like to just, if you do have a hyper obsession to something, there's a lot of people that think that because they're bad at school or because they're not interested in school, that they're destined to be a loser.
Yeah.
And that's not true. The problem is school is too rigid. Like regular public school system, sit down, underpaid teacher, disinterested, not really connected with the work. You're not connected with it. You just can't wait to go home and do what you like to do.
Exactly.
And you get this thought in your head like, oh my God, I'm going to be a loser. I mean, that's how I was when I was in high school. I thought I was going to be a loser.
Well, and you take it a step further because I thought, especially if you're like extremely passionate about something at a young age, where most kids aren't, then it's more exacerbated that it's like, I didn't talk to anyone. I hardly had any friends because I was so obsessed with YouTube. As back then, just no one cared. So it's like I thought I was just like, just didn't even know how to speak. Like literally, I just couldn't hold a conversation with a single person because people would just tell me all you talk about is YouTube, and I would try to talk about something else. But back then, I was so hyper obsessed, I literally just didn't know how to.
But what were you obsessed about? Were you obsessed about other channels, your channel?
Everything from like learning how to editing, the pacing of the videos, like ideas, what's going viral, what's trending, what's hot. Especially back then, I had no idea what worked. I mean, I had to like self-teach myself everything, even frame rate on cameras, coloring of the video, just stuff like that.
And how did you learn? Did you learn from YouTube?
Yeah, well,
So like YouTube videos and tutorials or something?
most of my growth came actually after I graduated high school. Basically, what I did was I somehow found these other like 4 lunatics. Three of us were college dropouts. One was a high school dropout, and one, I don't know, he just like quit his job. We were all super small YouTubers, and we basically talked every day for 1,000 days in a row and did nothing but just like hyper study like what makes a good video, what makes a good thumbnail, what's good pacing, like how to go viral. And we would just call it like daily masterminds. We would just get on Skype every morning, and like some days like I'd get on Skype at 7 a.m. and I'd be in the call until like 10 p.m. and then I'd go to bed, I'd wake up and I'd do it again. And we'd do things like just take 1,000 thumbnails and see if like there's a correlation to the brightness of the thumbnail to how many views it got, or like like videos that get over 10 million views is like how often do they cut the camera angles, or like things like that.
Really? So you microanalyzed
everything.
Really?
Yeah, just for like we were very religious about it, and so that's where most of my knowledge came from. Is I just surround myself with these lunatics, and just every day, like we didn't do anything. We had no life.
But everybody had sort of a similar vision.
Yeah, exactly. So we all had like 10, 20,000 subscribers when we met. And by the time we stopped talking, we all had millions of subscribers. And we all hit 1 million subscribers like within a month. It's crazy. Because it's like, if you envision a world where you're trying to be great at something, and it's just like you learning and fucking up and then learning from your mistakes. Also, my mom told me not to curse. Sorry, Mom. If someone could just like edit out the swear words and give it to me.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, so I could give it to my mom to listen to. That would be great. But like, you mess up, you learn from your mistake, you mess up, you learn from your mistake. You in 2 years, might have learned from 20 mistakes. Or if you have like 4 other people who are also messing up, and when they learn from their mistake, they teach you what they learn, stuff like that. Hypothetically, you 2 years down the road have learned like 5 times more of the amount of stuff. So it just like helps you grow exponentially way quicker, if that makes any sense.
It does. It does. So, but it's interesting that you thought about it that way in sort of a systematic approach. Like
exactly.
This is not dumb luck.
No, I mean, it was like they say 10,000 hours in math or something. We probably put in like 40, 50,000 hours. I mean, We're talking like every day, all day, like literally nothing. We had no friends outside of the group. That was your life. And
I'm actually rereading that book right now, that Malcolm Gladwell book, Outliers, that talks about that 10,000 hours principle. It totally applies to what you did. 100%. I mean, like it sounds like you were just all day, every day, and which makes sense. And what do you have now? 90 million subscribers?
Well, we across everything, we're closing in on 200 million subscribers.
Jesus!
Yeah, because have you seen our dub channels?
No.
Can you pull that up? Just search Mr. Beast in Espanol. So we actually, which I'm kind of curious why you don't do this. We do our videos in other languages as well.
Really?
Yeah. And so I can't wait to get to show you this, because I actually have a really cool story. Here, just go to the channel so you can translate.
Who does this?
We do.
So you hire someone?
Hit videos. Yeah, we have voice actors and everything.
Wow.
So these are the exact same videos on my main channel, but we pay voice actors to dub over them. We translate the text in the video, everything.
Mr. Beast in Espanol.
Yeah, that was actually one of the fastest growing channels last year. And it's just our videos
so
dubbed.
Smart.
Okay, now click on a video so we can kind of hear it.
Hoy, mis amigos y yo volveremos a la primaria. Al final de la clase haremos un examen de 10 preguntas. Y si te
And so
equivocas
scroll
en más
down
de dos,
so we can see the comments.
pruebas.
It's all in Spanish, like.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that's now just I won't pull them all up, but now
In
just
the other countries?
Yeah, search Mr. Beast Brazil. We do a bunch of languages.
So you got a Portuguese translator as well.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah, same thing
I love
here.
it. Oh man, what a great idea, man.
Yeah, and so because if you Google it, it's like only less than 10% of the world speaks English, so 90% of the world can't even enjoy your content. And when I realized that, I was like, wait a minute, 90% of the world can't even watch this stuff. And so go back to the Spanish one real quick, because that's our biggest one. And sorry for anyone watching who doesn't have the visuals. So set it to most popular. We just started doing this like 6 months ago, and it's crazy like how viral some of these videos are going.
51 million.
Yeah. And
the problem with me is like, I don't know if someone's going to translate if they're going to say exactly what I said.
Well, you have quality control. So we have before a video gets uploaded, we have 3 different people who basically write the transcript, and then if the words don't line up on all 3, then let me think about the process. We have something like that, because I was worried about that as well. I think we take the original transcript and then we have it dubbed, and then after stuff we have like 2 different people write out, and if it doesn't line up with the original, then there's it's a red flag, and then we look at it.
Interesting.
Yeah, we built some system where I don't have to worry about that. Oh, and the final point is, in Spanish, the guy who does my dubs is the same guy who dubbed Spider-Man. We managed to convince him. So a lot of those comments are like, why does he sound like Spider-Man? Or is Mr. Beast Spider-Man?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and so what we do is when we go into these markets, we get celebrities to do my voice. So then the local people in the language freak out. So like Japan's coming up, and I can't say who, but we secured like a giant voice actor from an anime to do my dubs. And whenever we launch in Japan, I know they're going to lose their freaking minds.
That's a brilliant idea. That's so smart. So you have how many employees then?
I mean, across everything, over 100. I don't know. It's been
Wow.
Yeah.
And what are you, 23?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. I think I just had the blessing of finding what I loved at a young age. So, like, because to get to this level, it takes, a decade. Most people don't find what they love till their young 20s, so they'd be where I'm at in their 30s. Yeah. I just lucked out and found it when I was really young.
It's that, but it's also your vision. The fact, one of the things that I was really impressed by when I started looking into you after my daughter introduced me is that you invest so much money into the show.
All the money I make. I don't. Why do I need money?
So you don't like go crazy? You don't have a Ferrari or anything nuts?
No. I think living your life chasing like a nicer and nicer car and a bigger and bigger box to live in is kind of like a dumb way to go about life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually, funny enough, I lived in like a super below average home, and I kind of learned why famous people don't live in below average homes, because someone broke in, stole everything I owned. So I had to get a little nicer house for security reasons. But before I was robbed, I mean, like my place was like a little duplex, $700 a month. You get a roommate's $360 split.
Right.
Yeah, and just drive a normal car. Well, now I drive a Tesla just because of the getting off of gas and stuff like that. But yeah.
So you don't go crazy at all with cash?
No.
You don't?
No? I really try not to. I think that's like just a bad way to go about life. Also, it is a little hypocritical because I run a nonprofit, and we have you seen our Beast Philanthropy channel?
No.
Can you pull that up as well? We do a lot of stuff for helping people. And so also if I lived in a $10 million mansion while I'm feeding people and trying to help people, also, in my eyes, it's also a little hypocritical as well. So in every area, I feel like it's just better if I just live below my means.
You're just very wise for a young man, because a lot of 23-year-olds would be balling out of their fucking mind right now.
Zoom out. Well, yeah, I also have some stories about that too. But
you do?
Yeah, because I did have a phase where I did ball out a little bit, and then I realized, like, yeah, this doesn't make me happy.
What did you do during the balling out phase?
I bought an i8, and I also bought some designer clothes, like some $1,000 shirts and stuff like that. Ironically, all of which was stolen when my house was broken into. So it's kind of perfect, because I was like, I don't know if I really care about this stuff anymore. And then someone just stole all my expensive shit, and I was like, perfect.